Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Shamsia here as always. In today's video, I'm going to be doing something different. I had always wanted to share my pregnancy experience with you guys because I want this channel to be a mommy YouTuber thing. So I wanted to share my journey with you, and then it should start from my pregnancy journey. But then I wanted someone who had more knowledge when it comes to this pregnancy thing, because honestly, before getting pregnant, I wish I knew so many things like I didn't know. So I was like, why not put this content out for people who are trying to get pregnant, people who are pregnant also, they can benefit from it. So I decided, I'm fortunate, guys, I'm fortunate to be having a final year medical friend. So I was like, why not bring her on board and then we discuss this for you. Let's welcome Dr. Annie Yena.
My name is Annie Yena. I'm actually a final year medical student, not yet a doctor, but soon to be a doctor. And I am 23 years. I come from Upper West, and I'm in University of Ghana.
Proud
medical student. Yes, proud mother. And I'm University of Ghana medical student. So that's the little about me for now.
Okay, so yes, before you start, there are so many things I wish I knew before getting pregnant. So I want what to do to prepare your body for pregnancy. You know, I didn't know. I think I was even pregnant before I knew I was supposed to take folic acid. Yeah. Like in preparation, I don't know, I'm not using medical terms because I'm not a medical student. I'm very simple, so doctor, bear with me. So please tell us some of the things you have to do to prepare your body. Start with what at all is pregnancy. You know, people need to know.
Say pregnancy is when an egg meets a sperm and then they combine to form a zygote or an embryo, and that grows to mature to become a baby. So that's when you know that you're pregnant. That's when pregnancy has been achieved. Okay. So, and as you said, there are many things you did not know before you got pregnant, and you can't just, people just get up and get pregnant, but that's not the ideal thing to do. It's a whole human being. You have to prepare for that special someone. So when you plan to get pregnant, the first thing to do is to start eating right. This is not the time to start eating your junk and everything, because actually your baby derives all its nutrients from you. So whatever you eat is going to the child. So you want your child to be healthy. So you want to eat all the balanced diet. So make sure there's carbohydrates in your diet in the right proportions. There's proteins, vitamins, minerals, and everything. So you need a bit of proteins, a bit of fruits and vegetables in your diet. So that's like building your body and building your immune system for that baby. The next thing you want to do is, if you have been taking alcohol, you'd want to stop taking alcohol before you get pregnant, because there's one syndrome called fetal alcohol syndrome, and that affects the brain of the baby, and it has permanent damages to the child. So you don't want your child to come out in that state. The next thing is, if you smoke, you want to stop that, because it also increases the chance of getting birth defects and all of that. So you want to exercise just to improve your immune system, and you want to have a lot of rest, because we know that stress will can mess up your menstrual cycle, and if you don't have a regular menstrual cycle. The next thing is also to start taking folic acid. Folic acid is useful in preventing neural tube defects in the child, which are spinal defects that happen in the child, and we want to prevent that. That's why folic acid is important, because what's in the body. So those are the little things you can do to prepare your body before you get pregnant.
What are some of the same things you should expect when you get pregnant?
Yeah, okay, so the first symptom of pregnancy is when you miss your period. That is like so when you miss your period, that's the first thing. You know that, oh my god, you are pregnant. Yes. And
what about those with an irregular menstrual cycle? How are they going to
know that? So those ones, when you miss your period, you can just test. If you have an irregular menstrual cycle and you've had sex, unprotected sex, you should expect to get pregnant. So at that time, if you miss your period, then you'd want to check. But if it's an irregular cycle and already you've not had sex with anyone, then I think it's fine. Yeah. Other symptoms of early pregnancy include morning sickness, what everyone knows. So
yeah,
you have.
I didn't know about morning sickness. Seriously, I didn't know. Well, I didn't know. Because most of the time we assume people know, but then honestly they don't know. Because I didn't know that all those who have been pregnant around me, the time I see them, they are active and stuff. Okay. I was only thinking that it's only vomiting and then spitting and stuff. I didn't know anything about morning sickness. Okay. And then, so you have to tell us.
Yes. So the morning sickness, it includes nausea. Everything, like you just want to vomit. Some foods can trigger the nausea. Some smells can trigger the nausea. So some people have
with the smell. Oh, you said smell. Yes. With the smell, I remember when my neighbor is cooking common rice. I'll just run into my washroom and then be hiding there because I couldn't stand. Even though I wasn't vomiting and spitting, I just couldn't because I'll feel like throwing up, but then I wouldn't be able to throw up and then I won't feel comfortable. So I just rush into my. So I used not to cook in this house, honestly.
The symptom is mood swings. You just are not in the mood for anything or anyone. The things you used to love, you can just
I remember because at
lose
that time,
interest in them.
I remember because at that time some people can just trigger your, how do they pronounce that thing, your mood. You see some people and then you feel like you know what
Yes, so aside the people and things, it's
and then we'll be crying over some little things. Like seriously, I remember very well that I was telling my husband the kind of stuff I wanted for my baby while I was pregnant, that early stage, and then to tease me he would say, oh no, we are not getting this, we get this one. Well, like I would just cry serious cry. After that I was like, why was I even doing all that? Because
it's all the hormones. She's talking about your hormones. It's hormones that make you do all these things, just put you off. You are not in the mood and everything, so it's not your fault. And people who are around people who are pregnant should have the patience for pregnant women because it's not intentional at all. It's all the hormones. And so another symptom is increased or decreased appetite. It varies from person to person.
With me, my appetite was decreased at the early stage, then it came back during the lactation. I think
if you find yourself overeating or you find yourself not interested in food, it's perfectly normal. And all these symptoms, actually, some people do not experience any of it at all. Like I know someone who did not experience the morning sickness. She didn't. I think the only symptom she experienced was a mood swing. She was always in the mood, but aside that, she was fine. Yes.
With me, it was just the morning sickness, I think, and then I think spotting. Yeah.
Yes. And the spotting is a symptom in early pregnancy. You don't expect to be spotting. For a normal pregnancy, you don't expect to be spotting in the second and third trimester.
So third trimester, when you are spotting, does it mean like you are in danger or something?
Yes, it's a danger sign, which we'll talk about later on.
Okay. What do you have to do now after you are finally pregnant? When you test and then you see it's positive and you are happy, you are all over the place.
When you suspect that you are pregnant,
that's the same things.
Yes, after you've experienced all the symptoms and you think you are pregnant, you can get a UPT, that's urine pregnancy test kit, from any pharmacy, and it comes as a stick. So you pee on one side of the stick and wait for a few minutes.
Doc, please. Okay. Do you have to pee directly? Because I remember the first time doing it, I was struggling.
When you look at it, it comes with a dropper.
Yeah, it's
something like what you use for eye drop. I don't know. So you can pee into a pail or something, and then you pick some of the pee and then drop it onto the stick so that it's neat. It's not
should have got this
messy.
To shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how you do. And you wait for a few minutes, and then when you see one straight line, it means it's negative. But when you see two lines, you are positive. You are so pregnant.
Finally.
So what to do when you're finally pregnant? As soon as you get positive UPT, that's a test kit, the first thing to do is go to the hospital. like just go to the hospital and confirm pregnancy, because sometimes the test kits can be wrong. So you confirm pregnancy with
so can you actually test positive at home and then go to the hospital and it's negative?
Yes, you can test
positive.
But it's unlikely. The reverse is more likely, where you test negative at home and then go to the hospital and it's positive, because the hospital has more specific tests, exactly, like the serum test. So that one, they take your blood, and that's more sensitive than the urine.
I remember when I went, they did this blood test.
They do the blood test. Okay. So that's about it. To the hospital and they confirm that you are pregnant. Then they book you for antenatal care. So previously, every woman was supposed to have at least 4 antenatal care visits, but then now WHO recommends that every woman goes at least 8 times.
Yeah, I went more than 8.
Yes, every woman goes at least 8 times for now. Okay, so there are various things, various categories would talk about. So the first one, as I always like, is nutrition. I just like nutrition. Just take healthy foods, as I said earlier on. And from my experience as a student, some communities don't eat certain foods, which may still be good for your health. But then because some communities don't eat it, the women tend to avoid those foods, which may still be good for your health. So they lose out on those vitamins. So some people don't eat eggs, some people don't eat snails. And in such situations, if you don't eat a particular food, you should rather find the alternative. So if you don't eat eggs, you can eat fish or you can eat meat. But don't lose out on the whole protein, because that's what your baby needs to develop properly. Exactly. And you were already taking your folic acid earlier on, so you would continue with that. General care. So your general care involves not lifting heavy objects, and this is not in the first trimester, but at least in the second and third trimester, you want to avoid lifting heavy objects because of the baby bump in front of you.
Malaria due to you when you get pregnant.
So malaria, malaria in pregnancy. What does that mean?
Malaria that's pregnancy, because the way like you don't want malaria. So I'm interested in what it does, because when you go for antenatal, when I go for antenatal, they say it's a lot, but I was like, was it not normal?
Malaria in pregnancy, aside the general feeling of not being well with the fever and everything, malaria can reduce your blood level and availability to you need blood for the baby. Okay, and then that's what the parasites are feeding on. Exactly. And also the malaria parasites can cross the placenta. So the placenta is a protective barrier.
You're taking me into the medical.
The placenta is what connects you to your baby. Exchange of nutrients between your blood and your baby's blood happens. It happens in the placenta. But you know that your blood doesn't mix, right?
Yes. The baby's blood and the mother's blood never mixes. How will I know? Okay. So the placenta is in a way structured in a way such that the baby's blood and the mother's blood come very close, like close enough for nutrients and stuff to pass from one place to the other. So you give nutrients to the baby and the baby gives you the waste products. Oh, okay.
So the baby's waste products goes to you, and then you pee it out and you poop it out. So
when you don't eat while you are pregnant, you say it's for the baby.
Eat for the baby, because what you are doing, you are giving all you are eating, your nutrients in your blood, everything is going to the baby. So if you love your baby, you have to. That's why I was eating from the blood. You have to eat. Exactly. Substance abuse, which we talked about earlier. You don't want alcohol, you don't want smoking. If you are taking, as long as you're pregnant, if you were taking any drugs before for whatever reason, you have to consult your doctor to find out if you could still continue taking those drugs, because some drugs are not good for the baby. Yes, and there's a term we call teratogenic. It means it can teratogenic. means it is harmful to the baby. It can cause the baby to die, it can cause the baby to have birth defects and everything. So whatever drug you're taking, you have to consult your doctor to find out if you can still continue. Exactly. So the next thing are comorbidities.
What?
It's a big word. So comorbidities are the diseases that you have before you got pregnant. So diabetes, sickle cell, hypertension, what else? HIV, malaria. You have to know all of that. I mean, you will know if you know you had diabetes already. When you get pregnant, you have to make sure those things are controlled.
Oh, okay.
So you have to continue taking your medications. If you get pregnant, that's when you should be on your medications, because I know some diabetics and people who are hypersensitive, they don't really like taking their medications. But for the sake of your baby, please keep your sugars maintained, keep your blood pressure maintained. If you have sickle cell disease, you have to see your doctor more frequently than a woman who doesn't have sickle cell. As well as your HIV status. This is not the time to hide your HIV status at all. If you know you have HIV and you are pregnant, you should disclose that information to your doctor, though we routinely test every pregnant woman for HIV, but then you have to.
Yeah, because I remember when I was going for my antenatal, the nurses were saying, but when they come and then they test positive, they don't come back, because it's like they don't want
people to know that they are. And one thing you should know is that you are trying to save the life of your baby.
Innocent child.
Yes, an innocent child. And at this point, when you come to the hospital early and we give you your antiretroviral drugs, they can reduce the load. We call it viral load. So when you take your drugs, you reduce the viral load. That's the, should I say, the amount of HIV in your blood, sort of. So when that level is reduced, it reduces the chance of passing it to your baby. So HIV mothers can actually have a very healthy baby. Exactly. So it depends on you. You have to be taking your drugs as often as possible. Exactly. So the next,
doctor, like, you know, there is this first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. I never heard of. I didn't know there was something like first trimester, second. So I got pregnant and then I was searching online. I was reading. Then I got to know. So we want to take us through all the trimesters.
Okay. So a normal pregnancy is 40 weeks, but it can range from 37 weeks to 42 weeks. That's a normal pregnancy. So if it goes beyond 42 weeks, that's bad. If it's less than 37 weeks too, that's a problem. But between 37 completed weeks and 42 weeks, that's a normal pregnancy. And using 40 as the standard, using 40 weeks as the standard, we divide from the first week to the 40th week into 3. So that's why it's a trimester, 3. Okay, so the first trimester is week 1 to week 12 or 13, then from 13 to 26, then from 27 to the end of your pregnancy.
That's the third.
That's the third trimester, and
that's when you are completing.
Yes,
you are graduating.
Yeah. And all the trimesters have different symptoms, different things you should do, different things you should expect. So we are going to go through the symptoms of each trimester and things you should expect. That's one thing I forgot to add. The first week doesn't start from the
I wanted
day.
to ask you this question.
Doesn't start from the day you had sex.